Hey everyone, Chris Sawyer here. Welcome back to the Varietal Show. I'm right now in Amador County. I don't know if you guys have ever been here, but it's one of my favorite escapes in California to come to Amador County. I just stuck this in your face. It's called Turley. This is a damn good wine right here, a little Zinfandel. Guess what? Turley, very well known for Napa Valley. Guess where they get most of their fruit? Oh, it's called Amador County. And that's where we're at today. I am with my dearest friend, Tracy Beckner, and here we are. I'm looking right behind us. Right there is her amazing restaurant, Taste, that her and her husband Mark started. Chef Mark, I should call him, because he's so damn cool. I just love this family, and I love what you guys have done for this community here in general. Amador County is, when I come here, I think first of you and of your great little establishment here in the town of Plymouth. So there are a few towns here. When we point due east from here, we're talking about the Shenandoah Valley, which is really the first appellation of this province here, this little county. And we're sitting right here on the verge of all these kinds of areas. Right there, as we're looking just only a few hundred yards that way, is Highway 49. Anyone ever hear of the 49ers? Not just the football team, but the 49ers themselves came here a long time ago. We're talking about the 1850s and really how this started. They came in 1849 and then it branched out quite a bit. This was a whole province here that started this, and there was also a lot of winemaking that started here, where all these old immigrants that came here, they said, you know what, I don't want to be in these tunnels anymore. I actually think I've got an idea. This is a beautiful area, and I think I could grow grapes here and make wine for them to drink. And this is a wonderful area. Tracy, here we are together.
It's great to be here, and what a beautiful day we have.
I know, and there's your fabulous restaurant right behind us. Her and I had an amazing dinner last night. We caught up, and you know, you grew up in Sonoma County too.
Yeah.
And you used to go to all the dance clubs in the San Francisco, and we talked a lot about that last night, believe me. But you know, the fact is that this is a really special place for me to come and visit. I just judged the Amador County, you know, the actual wine tasting competition part of it. But you know, there's so many things. There's film, there's wine, there's music, there's everything that happens here, and there's also food. And this Taste restaurant right behind us is a big deal, you guys. This is as good as you will ever find in the Sierra Foothills, and I'll tell you why. I know this by heart. When I came here a long time ago, I was writing a story on Wrenwood Winery. It was a fantastic story, and they loved me, and the winemaker took me out to dinner someplace, and it was called the St. George. It's up a little bit. How far to Volcano from here?
It's about 20 miles.
Okay, 20 miles from here is a small province called Volcano. And at one point, this is where the most population in California lived, because it was where all the miners came to. And at one point they had 100 bars in this little town. I got married in that area, and she did the wedding food for me. You and Mark did that. Yeah. And it was amazing. And I still love everything they do, and that's why I come here. And believe me, when I went down to the little restaurant behind us to get her, there were some people trying to get in there. Believe me. And they were like, oh, we had the best time ever. Can you please let us in? A lot of reservations for tonight. I was lucky to come in late last night and have a great time with you. What brought you here originally?
Well, my husband Mark and I, who's a chef, we had decided that we were going to see if we could venture out on our own after 10 years of working for Marriott Hotels and Resorts in the Bay Area and in Colorado. And so we heard about the St. George being available for sale for a really long time from my dad, who has lived in Volcano since the early 70s. And so we went to Volcano to check out the old St. George, and in 1997, in the fall, we became the proprietors of the 1867 old Gold Rush Hotel with 20 rooms, a bar, and a restaurant, and did that for a while.
You did, and you made me extremely happy by doing that. You know, it's an amazing place, and this is the one thing I want to get across to you guys. This is a total adventure when you come up here to Amador County. There's great grapes, and there's a lot of old vines, including the 1869. You know, Scott Harvey. I mean, he has one of the oldest vineyards in the United States,
Oldest
and
documented.
and it's right up the hill from us, and all these gnarly vines. But there's so many other things coming on, and it's also kind of the gateway between two really great counties, which is El Dorado, which is that way, and Calaveras, which is this way. So that we thought we'd start out with a little El Dorado right here, a little Viognier, and so this is the amazing Cedarville. So you guys get a little glimpse of that right there. And I think that, you know, to be really honest, this is really one of my favorite Viogniers in the United States. And we had it last night. It was such a great pairing. You did that amazing prawn. It was like the
spot prawns.
The spot prawn, and it had this amazing. You had so much stuff going on in the bottom there. Tell us a little bit about that dish.
It's a little seafood broth, and then some creamy polenta and fresh local fava beans. Just super simple. And the spot prawns are fresh coming in head on.
Yeah.
So I was disappointed you didn't pick up the head and suck the eyeballs and get all the guts out of the head. But,
I know, I
I
know,
did that
and
earlier in the night.
then I saw the little fork that you gave me too, and I felt super bad that I didn't use that. That I gave it back to her, and I didn't really dirty it. That made me kind of sad.
That's okay.
I'll
forgive you
but
this
we
time.
made up for it later with the lamb and everything.
Oh,
so okay,
yeah.
Going into that. But this is you know, you represent this whole area so well up here. You're a great sommelier. I know that because you and I have done a lot of. We've even done you know, tastings together with other sommeliers. We've done so much, and we share each other's passion for this. You have a great relationship with someone that we know very well in Sonoma County. You want to tell everyone a little bit about that?
There's a fabulous winemaker from Sonoma County. His name is Fred Scher from Scher Winery. And I happen to be married to his wife's brother. So I am the sister-in-law of Fred Scher. And I like to call him my brother of choice.
I consider him like super duper family, and I've always loved Fred Scher. He's like one of my favorite winemakers of Sonoma County, and I love the fact that you were completely related to him and that you come there just to see him, and then you have to see me, and then I come up here and I see you.
Mm-hmm.
You have a great hotel, and it's just right over there called Rest, and this is why it's so easy to come up here and go to this amazing restaurant called Taste, is because you can stay at Rest, because after you have Taste, then you can go rest. Mm-hmm. And it's so easy, you guys.
Diabolical plan.
A diabolical plan indeed. So I think that this is an amazing thing. You came up here and you really started laying your foundation up here. You've become a very influential person here in this area because people learned to love food. This is a big difference, and you started that kind of movement, to be really honest. I mean, when I started coming up here originally back in the early 90s, there was like, if you wanted a good burger, this is where you went. There's some Italian, there's some good stuff in a few of these towns, but they're kind of like mom and pops, and some of them just turned over. You know, the chef is gone, and it just ends there. You have consistently produced great food here, and your husband is so good at this, and your staff is so good, as I saw last night, of just being on top of everything. And behind us, one of the reasons that we did it out here tonight or this afternoon is because, see these tables behind us? Mm-hmm. During the pandemic, these were the tables that people sat at in this park that was right in front. So you would have a little serving station right down there, and you would have the hostess would be right there, as you see between us and Taste, and welcome people in, and they would come up here and sit at these great tables, and this is how it would work.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. We had little tables inside the gazebo, and and it was really special. It was
Yep.
really a special. The staff, however, most of them dropped their gym memberships. They were walking about 6 to 7 miles a night, especially at this table. We're at the furthest table. This is table 63. Nobody wanted table 63.
Table 63. Boom. Done. Yeah. No, I love it. I just think that this is such a great experience to be here again. I haven't been back here. This is my first time back to Amador since, it's since 2019. Because, it just didn't work out that I came here during, 2020 in the beginning. So here I am. We're just tasting this great wine. And this really is a special one to us. It's a friend of ours, Susan, who was one of the vintners, and her and Jonathan made this brand. Really one of the best that we can talk about up here. She passed away recently, and so wanted to kind of honor her. But the brand lives on through Jonathan, and I think this is really an amazing Viognier. And this is really the start of the styles up here. This is more of the new style up here. What are we talking about when we talk about Amador County? First of all, we got to talk about Zinfandel. Zinfandel is what made it what it is. There's a little bit of Petite Syrah up here, not as much as you would think.
And most of the Petite Syrah goes into the Zinfandel.
Yeah, most of it's just a field blend with the Zinfandel. But I think that the more important thing is that the movement forward is led by, believe it or not, Barbera. Barbera, I got to taste that today with the other judges. It was amazing. And then we get into the Rhones and we start talking about that diversity, and we've really got what's going on up here. It's not a one-trick pony up here at all.
No, and today would have been the, I think, 6th Amador Four Fires event,
Yep.
which celebrates the 4 different regions of the world that we really well represent within Amador. And so that would be American Heritage, the
Yep.
Zinfandel, France with all of our Rhone varietals, Spain with our Tempranillos,
Yep.
or Iberia they call it, and then Italy,
Yep.
with the Sangiovese,
Yep.
that are so popular
And the
here,
Barberas.
and the Barberas,
And there's some little Fiona every now and then. You find some of these other white varieties up here as well.
like over on Shake Ridge Vineyards, they have a little Greco di Tufo.
Yep.
And Nacetto just planted some Greco di Tufo.
Yep.
So there are Vermentinos
Yep.
grown really well up here, and so there's a lot of great varieties that are coming out of here.
Yeah. So once again, this is the Turley Old Vine Zinfandel that we're going to taste right now. This is something that attracted me to this area originally. There were some different people up here even before this, Garth and some really interesting little old families that kind of came up. Some still are here. Some are these old kind of family growers are definitely still here.
Yeah.
But the fact is that these vines have outlived generations of people. And that's why this is a very important thing about this vineyard here, or this blend, is it's old vines. And that means that we're talking about pretty much before World War II. And when I think about Tegan Pasalacqua and his scale, some of the times when we talk about old vines Zinfandel, people are like, before the Korean War, the 50s. No. He's like, What are we talking about here? This is great food wine too.
It is, and I think a lot of times when we first moved here in 1997, we heard a lot, oh, you're going to where they just make overripe Zinfandel, and that's all that's there. And so I kind of began my one-woman quest to show people that this wine is not just overripe Zin. There's some really beautiful wines that are being made here that are food friendly.
Absolutely.
Pre-pandemic, we were doing Sunday wine lunches at the restaurant, and we did about 12 or 13 a year. Yeah. And it was a beautiful 4-course lunch paired with local winery, and a lot of the time it was people coming because they hadn't heard of the winery. Or they hadn't experienced it, and they thought what a fun afternoon it would be to come to taste, have lunch, and learn about a new winery in an intimate setting where there's only 30 people.
Yep.
So we were doing that and really just showing people that that hey, you know, you can have these beautiful Sierra Foothill wines. They are made by some pretty knockout winemakers.
Yep.
And
Legends, actually.
They are, and they have become legends over the years. Or there's a lot of Napa winemakers that come here and get grapes.
Absolutely.
And so
you heard that here. A lot of Napa Valley winemakers source fruit from here. And I will say one thing. You did mention the Shake Ridge. Ann Kramer is awesome. She's like one of the best growers in the United States, and her vineyard is up the hill from us here, and I've stayed there with her. And she's amazing, and she started in Napa Valley and all this stuff. But where did she come? A land of promise, a land of there's treasures up here. There's everything up here. You know, when you talk to Heidi Peterson, you know, like Heidi Barrett, and you're like, "Oh, Heidi, where did you get this fruit?" She's like, "I got it from up in Amador County," you know? And she's not kidding. I mean, this is how good this stuff is up here. I think it's unsung in many ways. What's not unsung is how good your restaurant is, and I love your restaurant so much. Tell everyone a little bit about, you know, I had the mushroom cigar yesterday. Tell us a little bit about a couple of your signature dishes.
Okay. Well, I will tell you something that I didn't mention last night, and that is that today is our 15th anniversary of Taste.
What?
Yeah. 15 years we've been doing this. It feels like it's only been 5, maybe.
And I'm here.
And we're not big celebrators of anniversaries. We say, okay, good job, let's get back to work. But yeah, we've been doing Taste since 2006.
Oh my God.
May 1st.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Because you know, coming up here is our 18th anniversary when you were still at your old restaurant.
St. George,
yeah, isn't that funny?
So back to the mushroom cigars. The mushroom cigars on the menu, they're the only item that haven't changed since we opened. And otherwise, every dish changes on the menu all the time. We barely see repeats. It's just going with local, fresh, seasonal, trying to use the best of the season. So the mushroom cigars are shiitake cremini oyster mushrooms, sautéed with shallots and herbs, rolled in phyllo dough with goat cheese, and baked and served with an amazing porcini mushroom sauce, drizzled with the pièce de résistance, the white truffle oil.
I loved every bite of that last night. And I hope we're making you hungry. That's delicious. Exactly what I want to do here. I had the lamb last night with you too, and that was an amazing dish. Tell everyone about that.
Yeah, so we use Colorado lamb. Actually, I'm sorry, right now we're using lamb from Dixon.
Okay, yeah, that's right. It was local.
So we're using lamb from Dixon, and the preparation changes all the time. But they just the chefs are so good at just preparing the meats perfectly. A little bit of seasoning, letting out the true flavors of what's happening right now, and just serving it simple. No big giant sauces. A little bit of sauce to dip in, but nothing that's going to overwhelm. And we did taste some beautiful wines with that lamb last night.
Yeah, we did.
And it's just I think the fun part that our chef right now is Michael Malcolm. He's been with us
he's great
for years, and he runs the kitchen, and it's his show, and I go along with him, and sometimes I say, nope, I can't pair a wine with that ingredient combination. Let's fix that so we can make it more wine friendly.
That's a very important point, everyone. When you hear this, sometimes the sommelier has to say a few words here, because sometimes if you make a dish that's not really pairable, we have some problems there. I mean, we're good, but you know, we hope we have a teamwork thing going on, and sometimes you have to make adjustments, and sometimes it's as easy as just throwing in like some fresh sage or something like that can really make it work. Or some acid. Acid is actually a very big key to a lot of pairings, and I think that you are so good at that, and you really do put your attention to detail. I mean, that's why I respect you and love you, and we have such a fun time together, especially when we're alone just talking with music playing for hours last night. But I think that this is really, when you get into the head of a sommelier, I mean, you guys hear me all the time on this show, but she's a star. She's one of my faves, and she's not Napa, Sonoma, San Francisco, New York, wherever. She's the real deal. She puts it out on the table every night. I mean, she's also the person that owns this restaurant with her great husband. And this is a difference, where everything is on the line at all times. She wants everyone to want to hug her on the way out. That's what I always wanted. And the funny thing is that you and I both worked for the Marriott Corporation. Me at the Lodge at Sonoma for 10 years and with Dave and on all those great people. And I got to really, have my ability to test things and work with the chefs and tell them what I wanted. I didn't own the place, that's for sure. But the fact was that I got to experiment with a lot of things, and it made me a better sommelier. It made me a better person. It made me, it also made me get a lot of respect from chefs in the way that I paired things. And I feel like you have that same trait, and you bring it here and you put it on the line every night, and people are so excited about when they come here. It's so amazing.
It's fun. And I married into a family of scientists, and my father-in-law is a physicist, my sister-in-law is a biologist, Fred is a chemist, and Mark is a chef, a scientist in his own right.
Yep.
And I entered into the group as the liberal arts major. And I always have been trying to find my science. And about 10 years ago, I realized my science was food and wine pairing, because it's chemistry in your mouth.
Yeah.
So
chemistry in your mouth. Did you guys hear that? That's exactly what it is. Chemistry inside your mouth is exactly what sommeliers have to do.
Yeah.
We have to perform chemistry inside your mouth.
Yeah. And sometimes the chemistry works a little bit different for everyone, but trying to find that pairing that is gonna make everyone happy, and my goal too, not just making it a happy pairing, but also elevating the wine, putting an ingredient with the wine that's gonna make you see something. Maybe you taste this and maybe I get a little bit of kind of an umami flavor from this when I'm tasting it, but it's just very, very slight and very brief. But if I add an ingredient with this, and that can extend that umami flavor and bring that out, where before it may have been masked a little bit, and then you add that right product to it, whether it's a spice or an herb or something fatty or something crisp or green, whatever it is, with the wine that you're pairing, you really are able to show people an element of the wine that they weren't able to see with the wine by itself. And I feel that's a really good wine pairing.
I agree. And I just think that, the chemistry is really something, when you really look down at it. We have to pick these wines out first, usually, is what we do, and then we have to figure out what we're going to pair them with. And sometimes it's very seasonal. There's something that just strikes you like it's the season, like you want something very light and crisp, and maybe you get an Albarino or a Vermentino, these white wines that are much more aromatic because it's springtime, summertime, and people are gonna love this stuff. And you get some good rosés in, especially with your salads and everything, and so this is starting points. But what is the chef doing? What's our best courses here? What are our signature courses? You guys have so many great ones that you do that I think that you've already founded that block here. And I mean, you're not going anywhere. This is your restaurant, so it's not like she's going to turn over. There's sommeliers right now are looking for new jobs because their restaurants are gone. You stayed alive because of this this actual park. She stayed alive, and so. But she's also the owner, and so she wants every dish to be right, and I feel like that's really special about you. And I just, there's so many sommeliers that I know, but they don't own the restaurant, and so they're helping the cause, but they're not putting their heart and soul on the line on a bigger scale, because if these people don't like that, they might not be back in. And you have so many people that are knocking on the door to get in here tonight, especially because I saw it. But it's just such a great thing that you've accomplished here in 15 years. I'm so happy to be here on your 15-year anniversary. This is super special.
And I have to say that in the 15 years, we've had a lot of people coming through our doors, front doors and the back doors. And none of this happens because of just Mark and I. We're just the idea people, and we have a concept that we, and a standard of service, and how we want our guests to be treated is how we feel like we want to be treated when we're out. And so, this, while it's our creation, it doesn't happen on a daily basis unless we have an amazing staff, and that we do. And Micah leads that staff. And kudos are to him. He's been doing this all through the pandemic, and long before. He's been at the helm, leading things and really taking control.
It's amazing.
So, while yes, we're here and we're driving forces, we definitely can't do it without our staff.
Tell everyone a little bit about what Mark is doing on the side.
His side gig.
His side gig. This is pretty good, you guys. Like, listen to this.
So Mark is the department chair for the culinary arts program at San Joaquin Delta College in Stockton, and he teaches culinary arts to students from Stockton, which is great because we've been able to feed the pipeline of culinarians right into our kitchens, and we've had a lot of students come through. And Micah was not directly a student of ours. He finished the program just as Mark was coming in, and he came to the restaurant on a field trip with one of the other instructors, and after the dinner he came into the kitchen. We were giving a tour to the students, and Mark said to a young Micah, what are you gonna do when you get out of school? And he looked around and very, very calmly said, I'm gonna be the chef in this restaurant someday.
What?
Yeah. So he's been with us over 10 years, and it's really wonderful. He's the chef. He's our partner in this business. It's his restaurant.
And I love the fact that he came out last night and we talked about music. The three of us, just the three of us. There weren't many people left in this restaurant last night, and we had a great time. I want you guys to all think about coming up here to Amador County. It's such a great experience. You guys help me have a great experience all the time. You've got the Union Hotel there in Volcano. You started in Volcano. What you do here with taste is amazing, and I love staying at Rest last night. We had such an amazing time, but I went back to Rest, and guess what? I rested.
Good.
And I had an amazing time, and it's just classy and it's wonderful. But I like the rustic style. I like the fact that you took like someone's old window and you made that into the leverage part where I reach up and grab the ice bucket that's got all these cool sayings on it, and you're like, oh, I just feel like some champagne right now. I just feel like some good bubbles. I just feel like, I think that you've got the whole thing about what this area can be for you guys. And I feel like that this is the real experience. And when you meet someone like Tracy, and when you meet Mark, and you meet Micah, and you just go like, man, these people care about everything they do. And it's precision, and it's detail. And sometimes people overlook that, but when you come to a great restaurant, you don't. You look at all those things and you're like, oh, damn, I did not expect this. And this is an amazing meal. And there are so many people that walk out of this restaurant right behind us and go, this is an amazing meal. I'm so glad we came here. So I hope you can say the same thing at some point soon. This is, Taste here in Plymouth, the little town of Plymouth, California. So if you're anywhere near Sacramento or even the Bay Area, and you just drive completely due east, and you can come here, and you just need to come on Highway 49. It will bring you here. Highway 16, which is right down here, and just anywhere up here. It's an excursion, but it's also an experience waiting for you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So good. Cheers, you guys.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming back to the amazing Varietal Show, and we appreciate you watching this show, and don't forget to check her out and this amazing restaurant out, and the Amador County wines. This is an amazing experience that's waiting for all of you. Thanks so much. Cheers.